That right there is exactly the camera that Canon needs right now. But what is it? Well, it's the R6V. Not to be confused with the Mark Roman numerals series. This is the V, the letter V. This is a camera designed for creators. So this slots kind of neatly in between the R6 Mark III and the C50. Anyway, it's so called the R6V because it takes the same guts of the R6 Mark III. And actually they should have called it the R6 Mark III V. Although that's not very catchy, is it? But then the C50 takes the same innards of the R6 Mark III and uses it in a different kind of body. So understandably, there's going to be some overlap. But still, I think there's room for the R6V to shine. But first off, let's talk about the body. It's quite a lightweight body, actually. It's quite a nice shaped body. It's, if we're to do the whole comparables thing, it is basically Canon's ZV-E1. But this is lightweight, but somehow it feels kind of robust. It's a nice feeling body. I think Canon do that quite well. The grip is fulsome. It's surprisingly thick, actually. I think it's the weight is 590 grams. That is without the battery. And then with the battery is 688 grams. It is a little bit bigger than the Sony EV1, if we're comparing. But this does have a fan. The ZV-E1 doesn't have a fan, so that makes it a little bit chunkier, a little bit thicker. You can see the vents right there on the side, on the bottom.
It is a little wider than the R6 Mark III, but obviously with no EVF hump, it's not as tall. And the R6V is a smaller body than the C50.
On this side, we've got, you know, if you want to mount your camera vertically. So you've got that so that you can mount the camera like that on a tripod for vertical shooting for your, you know, your Instagram reels or your TikToks. And also the user interface will rotate vertically both that way and that way. Doesn't do that for stills, but all right. Open the flap, you've got SD or CF Express. On this side, on the flappy bits, remote, headphone, mic, and here we've got the full-size HDMI and then USB-C. And it's thick enough that when you flip the screen, unless you're using the HDMI port, rotating the screen like this won't encroach on the ports for your microphone, headphone. But yes, chunkier body, but there is no EVF, just your tilty, flippy vlogging screen right here.
And just if you want to compare, it is a higher res screen than the ZV-E1's slightly basic screen.
The things that I find with Sony ZV-E1 is that it feels a little bit too minimalist when it comes to the body. When you look at this, you get a fair few bit of customizable buttons that are all numbered here, just like with a Canon Cine camera. It just feels like there's plenty of space in between all the buttons and dials and stuff like that. It doesn't feel too cramped, it feels good in the hand. And then on top, near the record button, right there, you've got a little rocker switch for power zoom. And this is a brand new 20 to 50, which would be the perfect lens for vlogging.
All internal zoom, all Zoolander spin, 50mm on the longest for people shots, and it's wide enough at 20mm for vlogging. Oh, and one more spin. Well, at least the power zoom on this lens spins both ways, and on this camera at different speeds. Not just fast and slow, but anything in between.
I mean, it looks and feels like it could be quite good as a hybrid camera. It has 33 megapixels as well, so it's not like the ZV-E1, which has only 12 megapixels. There's plenty of megapixels for stills work as well. Now, interestingly, even though this is a video-leaning hybrid, the menu system for both the stills and the video is the same as the stills, the classic EOS stills menu system, which I like. It works. But I guess they had to leave something for the C50. But one thing that separates a camera like this from the stills hybrid, and check this out, it's an important video feature. Yay, tally lamp. And of course a record button right here on the front. More than one record button. So 33 megapixels, that's plenty for stills. It's also got 40 frames per second continuous burst. You've got pre-burst, it's just the basic one, not the fancy latest one seen in the R5 Mark II. You can register faces for tracking and stuff like that.
You know what? I do that too when there's dog poop all over the steps. Subject detection subjects are the same as the R6 III, same AF low light sensitivity too. Basically, you can use this in the same way as the R6 Mark III for stills, almost. It's just that there's no EVF and it's electronic shutter only.
Ultimately, this is going to be less convenient than using an R6 Mark III if you're going to take more stills than video. This is more about a video camera that can sometimes take stills. But at least this does have the dust and moisture protection that the R6 Mark III has, and they didn't say that C50 has that, so. But for video, the good news is that this will be just as good as the R6 Mark III, but also the C50, because this has the same 7K RAW open gate, if not better for certain types of video taking than the C50. Well, this has IBIS. Not exactly the same IBIS levels of the R6 Mark III, that's 8.5 stops, this is 7.5 stops. The C50 doesn't have any IBIS at all. I mean, they say that's because the C50 is more of a serious filmmaker's camera, so you don't need that sensor to be moving about. It will be beneficial if it's fixed.
For vlogging, it certainly doesn't help to be without stabilization, at least for the benefit of your viewers. Of course, you could use the digital IS, but the sensor shift stabilization of the R6V will always look a lot more natural.
I think this is for vlogging. Stabilization. Let me have a little walk around without encroaching into lock shot. Just do a little walk around here.
The IBIS in the R6V for video does look pretty smooth, although it's got to be said, a strut around a conference room table isn't exactly testing it to the max. Canon's promo material perhaps illustrates the potential better, although it has to be said, it's promo material. I do that too when there's poop on the pavement also. But of course it has to lack some things that the C50 has.
Well, the difference between this and the C50 is that you can't put the top handle on this. You can put it on the C50. Also, the external audio interface. You can use the Tascam thingamajig, but also you don't get timecode on this as well, which is, I guess that's understandable, because the ZV-E1 doesn't have those things. ZV-E1 you can't put your top handle thingamajig on, and it doesn't have timecode.
And that sadly was all the time I had with the camera, but the key things that separate the R6V and the C50. This doesn't have timecode, handle external audio controls, no dual bass ISO, but it has in-body stabilization. A few emissions that might not make it ideal in some professional setups, but this has all the serious video camera features a video content creator could need. It's a vlogger/creator cam that is all grown up. It might be a V, but it feels directed at a different crowd to the V10, V1, and R50V. It's spec'd well and put together in an unpatronising package. No skimping on buttons or video making enhancing features. Now, Canon has a full house of creator cams, and with the top stabilisation, 7K RAW open gate, decent stills, and body made to take whatever you might want to chuck at it, this could be the ace, not just out of Canon's creator cams, but of any camera aimed at creators out there right now.
Full disclosure, I'm at Canon HQ and they have served some jacket potato with baked beans to me. I want a can of Coke, so just in case you think, oh, you probably got paid for this.
Shill.
Yeah, shill. I am a jacket potato shill today, so.
You got paid with some jacket potato.
I have to say, props to the Canon chefs. This is one of the best jacket potatoes out of any of the camera brands' canteens. It's fantastic. Very generous with the beans. Unfortunately, my family are going to suffer tonight with my flatulence, probably. So, maybe I'll just leave the jacket potato in the frame. Just add a bit, because there's a little bit around here which is just a little bit plain, and it's a little bit too corporate looking. It's not often you see jacket potatoes on a conference room table. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I did think of that. I did think of using that space over there to have the whiteboard, because it seems pretty cool. That's cool. Actually, looks a bit like a university teacher.
Oh, thank you. Is that a compliment?
Take it however you like. No, I've started running out of beans. I've got a bit too heavy on the beans. I've not rationed the beans for the last bits. But this is not an update to that. This is. Oh. We're not in the library today. I don't know. Are we banned? Are we banned from the library? But the library kind of suited both of us filming because there was enough space. But I don't know what the audio is going to be like this time. So let's find out. Brilliant! Yeah. Maybe I should do another shot where Jack of Potatoes out of the shot. Same innards of the R6 Mark III, but also it is a bit difficult, isn't it?